My next guest, right, this is something that absolutely fascinates me. So when I was reading up on this, our next guest here at Men's Radio Station, I thought, oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. This is a man who calls himself the breakthrough expert.
Well, you've got your work cut out this afternoon. I'm telling you.
Christopher Jones, welcome to Men's Radio.
Thank you very much. Well, with an intro like that, there's no pressure at all.
None at all. Christopher, I just want to say that with three completely neurotic people in one room, you have no idea that, you know, if you thought you were the expert, you're going to come out of here and going, maybe
to which the wise person once said, oh my God, have I got neuroses?
Yeah, maybe what did you just say?
I said, oh my God, have I got neuroses?
You.
This
is from the man. This is from the man in a boiling hot meeting. In a boiling hot meeting, he's wearing a huge black velvet suit with a cravat. Right, it's melting. The sweat is literally pouring off his brow. I say, Phil, take your jacket off, and he goes, I can't. I look shit hot. And he wonders if he has neurosis. Christopher Jones, you get rid of people's phobias.
That's correct.
This is amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's right. I'm going to hit you hard with this.
Go on then.
Do you know I have many phobias.
Yeah.
One is that I won't touch any handles or anything. That's for germs, which is fine.
Okay.
So I use a sleeve.
How do you get out?
I use a sleeve. I use a sleeve or a handkerchief or something. And
he waits for someone else to let him out.
I normally do. I have people who do that for me. No. All right. Can I tell you what my phobia is?
Go on.
And it's taken me a long time to... Is that me? Probably me. Long time to get over it. It's my phone. A long time to get over it. Mm-hmm. Paperwork.
Paperwork. Tell me about that then.
Hate paper. But now I've kind of cured myself. I realised I had got myself really quite ill.
Yes.
A number of years ago when the paperwork was, when I say out of control, I mean out of control. My office, it was on the floor, it was everywhere. Now, nothing. Everything, the moment it arrives, is filed. But it took me. Why is it? Because I'm not an joking aside, I'm not thatting. I'm not as stupid as I pretend.
Shall I put it out to the room?
No.
Oh, sorry. Did we pick up on this? There's a clip for the trail. I've ever heard it. I'm not as stupid as I pretend. Pretend. Note that.
Yeah. But why is it? And when I come to look at the paper, let me switch this up. I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry.
Hey!
It's my fault. I can only apologise. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm so pleased you pretend to be.
Shut up. No one's asking you. There's somebody in the room who's an adult. Just shut up about it, right? I know when I actually go to look at the paperwork, Christopher, it's like, well, I can do this. It's fine. This is all right. You know, what's the big deal? But I couldn't open the envelopes. I'm being very open here. I could not open the envelopes, and they would remain for weeks.
Okay, so how deep are we going to go here then? Do you want me to start?
Well, you go ahead. I don't mind. I'll be a test subject.
So you've overcome it. So the first question is, what did you do to overcome it, actually?
I just realised I'd been ill, I think, and I thought, I cannot. This is a whole fresh start, all sorts of new me, and I cannot go. I let that old me do this to me again.
Yes.
So I really was just sabotaging myself, and I don't know why I was doing it.
Okay.
And so it wasn't like I couldn't do the paperwork, but I could not open physically open the envelope.
The first thing I would say about phobias, fears, all these things, is that we tend to ask ourselves why. And that's the least helpful question when you have a fear, because it is an emotional response. And so, you know, we live in our logical mind, we live in our analytical mind. You know, school, education, university, it's all about making sense of the world. It's all about trying to understand. But when it comes to emotions, they are not logical. And you could say they come from the subconscious or emotional brain. So rather than asking yourself why, a better question is how. I.e., how am I doing this? What am I thinking, feeling, believing? What am I doing with my body to not want to do this? So there'll always be a belief about unraveling that paperwork. There'll be a thought that goes on.
The thought was, it's going to contain really lousy news.
Ah, yes.
A fairly illogical thought,
of course.
Because not everything was. But
emotions are.
My feeling was, I'm going to open that envelope. There's going to be a terrible letter from the bank, the this, that, and it's like, I can't.
And so your protection mechanism was to avoid it.
Yeah.
I tend to find, as long as it's not in a brown envelope, it doesn't matter.
How do you get your cash, Phil?
Well, just in case anyone's listening, I shan't say.
Moving on. So, okay. So what should I have?
Well, should have is maybe the wrong question, but what you could do was what you just told me, break down the thoughts, break down the feelings. What happened in your body when you used to think
I
about...
was physically sick.
Right, whereabouts did you feel?
Stomach. I mean, literally, honestly, wanted to throw up.
Right. So basically, you're giving that envelope meaning. And that's basically what happens with all sorts of phobias. So when people have phobias of oranges, all sorts of weird things.
Really?
Oh, yeah, you can have a phobia of anything.
My sister's got a phobia of kiwi fruit, so I am aware. She doesn't like the hairs. Doesn't like the hairs on the kiwi fruit. It really freaks her out. So but she is quite peculiar.
Okay. So do you want the science? I don't know how deep we go.
I do.
Okay. So
I find it fascinating.
Do you know of Pavlov and his dogs?
Yeah, sure.
So that he rang a bell, fed the dogs, rang a bell, fed the dogs. Eventually, you ring a bell, the dogs salivate like they're about to be fed. Now I've got my dog over in Crystal Palace. First time I moved.
Here you go.
And where do you live?
Well, I live in Kingston. Yeah, I live in Richmond. When I first moved to Crystal Palace,
Here you go.
When I first moved to Crystal Palace, so I'm walking down the street, past a cafe. My dog sees another dog, and the dog goes. Rrr. My dog reacts. Second time, walk down the street, my dog reacts. Been there 5-6 years, walked down that street, not been that dog there since, but my dog always goes into that response. Yeah, That's a conditioned response. Now, as human beings, we do the same thing. So if you kiss the love of your life and you hear a tune playing on the radio, 5-10 years later, if it's strong enough, you can be back there. I'm feeling all those positive feelings, feeling loved. If the love of our life breaks up with us, same thing. We hear that tune on the radio and we're back there crying 2, 3, 4, 5 years later. Now, with a phobia, that's exactly the same thing. An event has happened in your past where your brain has gone, this is unpleasant. This equals danger. And in that moment, the part of you that's designed to keep you safe, your fight, flight, or freeze response, goes, okay, so I either need to run from this, I need to play dead, or I need to get angry and fight it. And so it's a useful mechanism because it's what keeps us safe. So in the same way that if we touched a hot stove when we were little, we needed to go, avoid. And our brain goes, don't do that again. But when we wrongly associate danger to fruit or something like that, that's where it's a problem. So with you probably had overwhelm with this, a lot of fear, and your brain went flight, run away.
But I understand, because what you're saying, if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, is it mainly... It would be as a result of a trauma or an incident associated with a particular item. So let's just say that in Russ's case with the paperwork, maybe you've received foul letters in the past, and for whatever reason, the content being foul is supposed
He linked a lot of stress to opening those.
And as
letters.
a result of it, you associated it with it.
Exactly, yeah.
But with something like a kiwi fruit or an orange, what could possibly go wrong with that?
So the other science one I like to quote, do we know of Pavlov? I've done Pavlov. Do we know Little Albert? You know this story?
No.
So this is the Freudian?
No, the Little Albert one. This is when psychologists could do whatever the hell
threw
they
that in, James.
Let's try and sound smart.
Next time you'll say, was it Jungian?
What, is it Little Hans then?
It's the root cause of behavioralism, i.e. the study they often quote in sort of cognitive behavior, that kind of thing. This was back when psychologists could do what they want, right? So they'd take a baby. They took a baby. They called him Little Albert. They got a gong, and they'd show him some animals, and he'd play with them: rat, mice, dog, all these, a teddy bear. Fine. And then they went, right, show him the animal, bang a gong behind him, and the child goes, bang a gong behind him. Child goes like that. Then when they see the animal in future, the child, you've installed fear. The child doesn't know what the fear is. So the example with furry stuff, if that's what the phobia is, and I'd have to dig on that.
Well, I don't think it'd be furry stuff because my brother-in-law has been on the beach and it's not possible. So,
so what is it with the fruit that she's specifically scared of? Do you know? Because
no, it is genuinely. It is the little hairs on the kiwi.
So
I don't know why I'm doing this to my wrist. As if somehow my wrist resembles a kiwi.
At some point,
you are a kiwi fruit.
So at some point, when she was in a heightened state of anxiety, she rubbed hairs, and the brain linked. Said feel bad, feel the hairs. And that's all it takes. So it doesn't have to always be literal. It can just be the state of mind you're in at the time.
It can be an association.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's the conditioning.
I thought of it like this. It's amazing.
See, that's why we have men's radio stations. So you
every day is a school day.
Every day is a school day. and now you can sort out your sister.
Well, no, believe me.
No, well, it's just
not enough time in the world.
It's a female version of you. Well, good luck with that. James, what is your phobia? I mean, you've got a load. I know.
Loads. Spiders.
Spiders.
I've got a phobia of
very
not being able to eat biscuits.
No, spiders. I've got
What
a phobia
about
of
you,
not
Phil? We're
muting him
talking to
for the
James
crunch.
now.
Okay. So,
Spiders.
what's your earliest memory of being afraid of spiders?
Earliest memory at home, big spider in the bathtub when I was going to like have a bath.
Okay.
And I remember seeing the spider and being like, ah.
So what meaning did you give that when you saw the spider? What did you...
Like danger, I guess.
Danger.
Like I'm in trouble, you know.
Okay. And what did you feel when you saw that spider?
Fear, like panic.
Fear.
Like,
Okay.
that freeze almost response.
Okay. So when you... Whereabouts? Was it in your chest, your stomach?
I was very, very young, but I reckon it was probably in my shoulders.
Okay.
I was like, you know.
So if you can you cast your mind back to that moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
Yeah.
there.
And you
I'm
see
there.
his
I'm
eyes
there.
are looking up, so he's visualizing. So he's
Is this not the best? What
I'm
is
gonna
this not
hide
the
now.
best day we're having here? This is brilliant.
so when you think about that spider, you cast your mind back there.
Yeah,
Be the
okay.
younger self.
I went to look, but then I got my hands back. So-
No, sorry. See, that's the trouble when I point out what we're doing. It's
Okay.
distracting. Just
see
go
it.
there. I won't.
I can see the spider
Yeah.
in my bathtub.
So 0 to 10, how strong is the emotion?
like right now,
Yeah.
maybe like a 6 or a 7. Like,
Okay.
I'm definitely a bit on edge. That's for sure.
Okay.
It's not 10 like panic.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of ways we can interrupt it, but one of them is how big is that? How big is that picture when you think about when you think about spiders?
How big is the?
Yeah, in the mind. How big is it? A big picture, small
Yeah,
picture?
massive. Yeah.
Okay. Is it black and white or color?
Oh, it's probably black and white now. that I
Okay.
think about it. Yeah.
Focus on that image. Is it close to you or far away?
Close.
Close. Right. What I want you to do is just imagine now that you had that Harry Potter wand, the ridiculous spider. You've seen Harry Potter?
Yeah. Of course,
Right.
Yeah.
So imagine that spider now. Imagine everything the same, but just imagine that spider was on roller skates, doing a little dance.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I want you to make that black and white picture and push it off into the distance. Make it small. Make it tiny.
Okay.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
happening? 0 to 10 as you do it now.
I'm smiling for sure.
Okay.
Because I can think of the spider like, you know, falling over sort of things. I'm definitely more relaxed in that
Okay.
sense.
So focus on the spider now and imagine the Benny Hill music's playing. Yeah, yeah. As you're looking at that spider now.
Yeah. Okay. I can think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, feel it.
Feel it?
Play it in your ears. Play it in your ears. Don't.
Turn my ears. If only I had it ready, I could.
I actually keep it on my phone for this purpose, but I left my phone in the other room. So, so focus on that, or the circus music. What would happen?
I'm picturing it. It's fairly comedic. I'm fairly relaxed.
Okay.
I'm definitely not frozen.
So shake
Yeah.
it off. Shake it off now. Try and bring back that image. Try and feel the same intensity about that fear.
No, I can't. And you know as well, even when I picture it in my head, the image now is so far away from me.
Yeah.
It's like I almost can't see it the same way, if that makes sense, in my mind's eye. You know, before, it's definitely, I can remember seeing this great big spider clearly in the bathtub, and now it's almost like so far away. I can't even see it.
It's
Very good.
genius.
That's weird.
I mean,
just send him a bill, by the way.
Yeah, I'm getting paid for this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, his mum's outside. She'll pick up the
What about
tab
you
as
two?
well.
What about you?
Well, I was actually working with your mum while I was waiting to come in.
Well,
Actually,
she
on
has-
flying.
she's a-
severe fear of
Is
flying.
her phobia falling over in a radio studio?
No,
Would
but
that
she
be
has
it?
a severe.
It is now.
She has a severe fear of flying and of like closed spaces. So
Yeah.
we never used to be able to go on the tube because going underground into
yeah.
the tube.
No, I get that.
She used to like
No, I get that.
freak out mass, and she's not been on a plane in years. So it's funny that
She's
you mentioned
missing
it.
nothing, I can assure you. It still sucks. It's, as my pal does that. My pal, when he comes over from Los Angeles, is one of my best pals. He cannot get it. And I thought he was kidding. He's a film director and writer and everything, and a great guy. Lives life large, right? And he said, I've got claustrophobia. I said, come on, Francis, no, you haven't. And we went to where he was staying, an Airbnb thing, and it was on the 7th floor. He says, I'm walking. I said, Jesus, you're in your 80s, you're not walking. Come on, get the lift. And he panicked. I'd never, all the years, I've known him since 1982, and he panicked in the lift. And I thought, I thought he was exaggerating. He was in the most, he became a different person, a person I'd never seen before.
Yeah.
And I said, it's okay, we're nearly there, we're nearly there. And he was in such a state.
Well, I say that's because your subconscious mind is thinking it's in real threat. It's the same as someone pulling a gun on you. The body is responding as if you're in real danger. And someone who doesn't have the phobia tends to go, oh, well, just suck it up. Just deal with it. There's no problem.
Well, you know what? This is such a theme you've just hit on, because in our previous guest, Johnny Benjamin, MBE, this whole thing about just man up, suck it up, get on with it. Like that's the cure-all. That's the one-stop shop for every problem that you've got. Man up about it.
I mean, especially as males, we tend to
just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
I had a lovely sister-in-law who sadly passed away far too young. She was an adorable woman, but her phobia was spiders. Such to the extent, because there's people listening going, yeah, I hate them too. I'm with James Blake. I hate them. Her, my lovely Sandra, and her phobia was so bad she could hear them in the night and would wake her husband. And I don't know if you can't hear them, but
I think that's probably the
you know what?
What were they playing music or something? How on earth do you hear a spider?
They were dancing. They were like Rachel Arthur and the Giants. Yeah, they were playing swing. No, but and then the lights would go on. He'd go, "Oh, don't be ridiculous! Oh my God, there's a spider!" It was there. But if there was a spider, there was once a spider in her house. It was on the stairs, and she had to spend the whole day upstairs because she couldn't come down the stairs. So I understand that phobias are, although that you can laugh at it, they're very, very, very real.
Oh, they absolutely can stop people, living their life. And unfortunately,
now you had a phobia, and you overcame your own phobia.
I did. I had a few, actually, but you're talking about specifically the flying one, I assume.
Well, that was one of them.
Yes.
Public speaking was another one.
Public speaking was the other, yeah. Which one do you want me to talk about?
Either or.
Okay.
Both, actually.
So the flying one, I used to, before I got into all this weird and wonderful helping, I used to be in video production, actually. I used to be in the media, cameraman. And so... yes. And so we were out there filming. We were out in the Pyrenees filming snowboarders, and basically, I'll give you the edited version. We got in a helicopter before they had drones to film. I got off, and the team got off, and then we travelled home. And news reached us that actually half an hour later that helicopter had crashed into the side of the mountain.
Oh God!
Oh my God!
And when I was distant from it, it wasn't as bad as you think. In that moment, I was like, well, half an hour, a year, does it matter? But then we went back, and because you're a media guy, so went back to get pickup.
Really. not really, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, went back to get pickup.
And he does do planes as well, he did.
Just do planes a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we went back a couple of weeks later when it started to snow again to get some extra shots, basically. And then we're filming, and then one of the snowboarders taps me on the shoulder and lovingly goes, you see that scorch mark in the mountain? That's the helicopter you're on. And I just went...
Oh my God.
So that's really how the fear started with the flying. And people could tell me the statistics. And I mean, flying statistics, a lot of people... It
doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. You can use logic, but emotions don't work on logic.
The people in the helicopter, after they dropped you off, also had to share those statistics, but they became the statistic. That's the problem with statistics.
Absolutely. And that's absolutely. And I mean, they're useful if you're trying to justify with logic. So you're going, well, flying's dangerous. And it's like, well, not compared to crossing the street or sleeping in your own bed and stuff like that.
Why do we do
driving a car?
It's like the logic, Christopher. Yeah. When we do the lottery every week, which I do in some pathetic...
Someone's got to win. Yeah.
Some pathetic... It could be me. Got to be in it to win it. Yeah. And then somebody says, well, you're more likely to meet Elvis getting out on a UFO and discovering, taking photos of the Loch Ness Monster at the same time than winning the lottery. And you go, yeah, but... So logic doesn't really... Yes,
absolutely. So it's about dealing with those emotions. And one of those ways, which we were just doing there, was playing with the images. Because and talking of movie making, in order to feel bad, like I say, we're playing a movie in our head.
Yes.
So you guys ever seen re-edits on YouTube? You ever seen these re-edits?
I haven't, but can you hold that thought for 2 seconds? Because it's interesting, when you say about playing with the imagery, here's my problem with it, is that if you have a fear of something such as spiders, with me, it's mainly any insect that flies. I get very, very freaked out, especially wasps.
Yeah.
And I know exactly where that came from. Is because when I was about 6, 7, like a boisterous individual that I was jumping down the stairs, and I was just seeing how many stairs I could jump down from. What I didn't see is I was jumping straight onto a wasp, and that's where it stems from. Yeah. So I've now got a fear of jumping downstairs and wasps. But I'm joking, by the way. I don't jump downstairs. Anyway, but the point is that...
Where you're not living.
The point is that I know where it came from, but I can't change the image of a wasp. A wasp is a wasp. And
you
it
can change
sting
the
me.
image of that event, but let me break it down. I'll say it again. The imagery is one component of your fear. The thoughts are another. The beliefs are another. The breathing is another. Your posture is another. You change that. So let me ask you, what do you need to believe to be afraid of wasps?
How do you mean, sorry? What do I need to believe to be?
What do you need to
afraid
believe? What do you believe about what? I'm asking it that way because it tends to give you a better answer. But
Oh, I see.
what are you believing about wasps to
of? Or
be
just
afraid?
the fact that they can sting you, and that if I don't have, say, any
So
sting
what is it
repellent
that makes
nearby,
you right? So what is it that makes you believe that they're going to sting you?
reputation.
Reputation. And how many times have you been stung?
Only once
Okay, so I won't go to logic.
in a lifetime.
Okay, so I want you to put. Are you happy for me to work with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Let's,
you've
let's,
had-
let's
I mean,
air some dirty linen, shall we?
I mean, you've had obviously you've had tappers and haveners and EMDR people, blast people on before. So there's lots of these kind of intervention techniques that you can use on these things that I use as well. So you've had Nick on, I know. So if you go back to that thing in your mind.
Nikon is a brand of camera, isn't it? Oh,
Nick
Nikon.
Davis.
Sorry, no,
Nick
sorry,
Davis.
yeah.
Yeah, Nick Davis.
So if you go back to that event in your mind,
Yeah.
okay, what do you feel?
Curiously, trepidation.
Trepidation. 0 to 10. How strong is the emotion?
Yeah, it's. I'm sort of sensing.
so
middle
you know
of the road,
what
about
would
five,
be-
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Actually, so this is the thing. Sorry, I'm just going to point out what he's doing, Mr. Analytical. He's even rubbing he's in his head.
Yep.
He doesn't actually want to fully go there, and he wants
I
to
don't
try and
like
figure it.
it.
He wants to try and figure it out. And this is the mistake that we make. We try and avoid. We try and suppress, but actually by pushing it down, the example I often use is you have a screaming child, and you want that child to shut up, so you lock it in the cupboard. It'll actually scream louder. Not anyone's going to do that.
I was going to say, no
It's an
letters,
analogy.
please.
It's an
That was an
analogy,
analogy. It's
obviously,
not
yeah.
actual.
Unless you're Harry Potter.
We do not condone either. Thank you.
So that screaming child is going to come up worse. So the more you try and suppress those emotions, they'll come up when you don't want them. So if you can be with them and then do a self-soothing process on it, it will actually dissipate like that. So one of the ones is to play with the image. You can play with the emotions, or you can play with the thoughts. You can change those thoughts. You can change those beliefs, because beliefs are incredibly powerful. People will fight wars over a belief about whose God is right. Doesn't make it true. But people will do a lot to try and make their beliefs true, and that's again trying to justify emotion with logic. So, going back to it. Put your hands down for me.
Okay.
Put your hands down for me.
Why? Okay.
If you don't want to, that's fine.
No,
That's fine.
go for it. No, it's fine.
Red.
You don't want. No, it's fine. It's
No,
fine.
it's fine. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. And I might as well try and tackle this now because the summer's coming up, so I've got to deal with wasps.
Okay.
Again,
Okay. So you've been stung once,
so. Yeah.
right? How many
Well,
times have you?
by a wasp. But
By-
yes,
by a
keep
wasp.
going.
Stop deflecting. From that.
Easy.
Stop it. You've got a top world
get- oh,
expert
but-
here. Make use of
By
it.
the
All
way,
right, sorry.
this is by the way, this is what people do when they come to see me. They'll go, I'm afraid of flying or wasps or whatever, and I go, okay, tell me about that. What are you afraid of? What specifically? And they'll go, well, it's not this, and it's not that, and it's not this. I go, don't tell me what it's not, because it won't be a lot of things. Tell me what it is. But people love to sort of bounce around the subject.
Is
Okay,
that because they're afraid? Sorry, is that because they're like actually afraid of it, and it's just they're like subconscious? They're saying just avoid this.
I mean,
you
I
don't like it.
Again, the whole idea of push it away, suck it up. I think we're taught to try and avoid the things we're scared of rather than face them. And I don't mean face them as in power through and be a man. I mean face them as in acknowledge what is going on internally and work out what you need to do to change that.
And I am very much of the attitude, just suck it up, keep calm, carry
And-
on.
and-
And I'm sure this is shining through, but that's what
I
do.
can tell. And how's that working out for you?
Well, normally it's okay.
Okay.
Until it starts getting analysed.
And how's it working out when it comes to wasps? Like, has your fear of wasps gone doing this strategy?
Has my fear of wasps gone? No,
Yeah.
I'm just looking
Right.
around to make sure there's not one in here.
No, so this is my point. So your strategy of sucking it up and powering through may serve you in one context. It doesn't serve you with dealing with your phobia, though.
It doesn't maybe deal with the phobia, but it does maintain an element of dignity, which is above all.
Okay, so which is more important, dignity or you? So would you rather have dignity or let go of your fear? Not that they're two mutually exclusive.
In my humble and somewhat possibly ignorant attitude,
Yeah.
it would be dignity. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me
Then
wrong.
I will leave you alone
No,
for
but then
now,
don't
but
get me
I
wrong.
will
But
do
I
that.
appreciate
Yeah.
that it shouldn't be.
Yes. And there's nothing, but okay, so if it was a session, and I appreciate we're on the radio, but what is it that you believe about being honest about your emotions that means you're losing your dignity? Because isn't that what this whole show's about, really?
Oh, no, I don't think it's that. I think it's more about if one was to give the impression that something as trivial as a wasp puts the fear of God in you, then people would either just laugh or think it's a bit ridiculous, and they'd probably be right.
Phobias are illogical, yeah. So that's the key.
I fear we're getting deep here with Phil.
Yes.
So let's move
I am so loving this. This is
so
great.
Yes.
This is the best holiday ever.
Busman's holiday.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot.
No, it's
No,
fascinating.
we're putting him on the
I'm waiting. I'm waiting to be cured here. What's next? What does one have to do to overcome a wasp before the ad break?
Well, again, so so have you tried the tapping? Have you done those things before? Have you tried the eye movement processes?
Tapping.
Okay.
The tapping.
I've got to get him out of his head first. I've got to get him thinking. But yeah,
Right,
don't know we're going to be able to do it this time.
We're going to take a break in a minute, but I can't remember the last time I had so much fun just watching Phil Dave squirm.
Crumble. Yes, thank you.
Genius. It's absolutely genius. In case you're wondering who this wonderful guest is, who's now my new best pal, is Christopher Jones. He is the breakthrough expert.
You think I'm a broken rope? I'm afraid not.
He's here all week, ladies and gentlemen. Try the chicken parmesan, and don't forget his midnight show at the Crystal Room. I'm Russ Kane. This is Men's Radio Station. We're completely dissecting Phil Dave, and boy, James Blake and I are loving every second of it. We'll be back in a sec.
You're listening to Russ Kane on Men's Radio Station, where men really talk.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Davis. I'm the proud owner of Stoughton Cigars in Mayfair and Knightsbridge. For the past 60 years, we've been providing the world's best Cuban cigars. When it comes to cigars, there's no other than Stoughton Cigars from Mayfair and Knightsbridge. We at Stoutons would like to wish Men's Radio Station every support in their task for helping men's emotional and mental well-being. Check them out. Men's Radio Station, where men really talk.
Your call is important to us. You are now number 15 in a queue.
At Profile Insurance Services, we treat people as individuals. You'll speak to a real person, not a call centre. We're fast, small, independent, and have a superb team of insurance specialists. And they're really nice too. Advice is totally free and we cover everything. Call 0208 931 3306. Listeners to Men's Radio Station won't pay a penny for admin fees. That's 0208 931 3306. With Profile Insurance Services, you're covered.
Let me tell you about Jermyn Street Theatre. We are the smallest theatre in the West End, only 70 seats. We are a registered charity and not grant-aided, run by a small team of volunteers and trustees. Jermyn Street Theatre is a hidden gem. It combines the comfort and convenience of the West End with the intimacy of a studio. Every seat has a perfect view of the stage, and even a whisper is audible. This is a secret theatre in the heart of the West End, once found, never forgotten.
Slick 50 Barbershop is in Westcliff-on-Sea, Essex. Elaine, specialist in retro haircuts, has been trading since 1987. Music and lifestyle are her inspiration. You can also purchase merchandise and Toot Sweet pomade. The shop is open Tuesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Please call 01702 390 916 to book your haircut. Visit barbershoprockabilly.co.uk, Slick 50 Barbershop on Instagram. Gracias.
Not ready for making tax digital? Struggling to keep up with changes? Or do you simply need a friendly and reliable face to handle your accounting needs? With over 20 years of experience, BBK Partnership in 5 London areas provide personal advice, and all our partners are readily available in person and by phone at times that suit you. Give BBK a call today, 0208 216 2520, or visit our website, bbkca.com.
You're listening to Men's Radio Station, where men really talk.
Indeed, we do. I'm Russ Kane with Phil Dave and Boy Wonder. And we're with James Blake. All right. Got to be nice because his mum's outside and she made great tea. So there we are. Christopher Jones is our special guest in this particular hour. And he is dealing at the moment, to our great delight, with Phil Dave's phobia of wasps. And
haven't we moved on from this?
Sadly, we haven't, Phil, because we were deep in the middle of your session. And I really feel like we could be in Harley Street, but James and I are just kind of peeking through the window and going, this is great. So, Christopher Jones, phobia expert, off you go with my good friend and colleague here, Mr. Phil Dave.
With his former friend and colleague, Phil.
I think maybe I should leave him alone. I don't know if he wants to deal with it in public.
Do you ever want to be invited? Christopher, do you ever want to be invited back here?
Okay.
Do you want to PR? You know.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be.
Because I might not want you invited back.
Oh no! When it comes to Phil, it really is meant to be interrogation. No.
I feel like I'm beating him over the head.
Well, that was another mental image that we're immediately embracing.
I wouldn't worry about it. It's fine. I'm quite used to it. It's fine. Okay, look. So I think we established that I need to maybe change the vision in my mind of what a wasp is and what it does.
Yeah.
What else do I need to alter? The probability of getting stung, is it?
It's in his head so much. I mean, you can do that, but again, logic has nothing to do with emotion. So just because you realise that doesn't necessarily mean you'll change. In the same way when I work with flying clients, like I said, there's all these statistics, but it doesn't mean it's going to change how you feel. It's better to change the emotion, which is the place you don't like going, I'm guessing. And I've only spoke to you for, 10 minutes, but I get that you like to be in your head. So, yeah.
Very well
so what would
achieved.
happen? So I would actually, if this was a session, I would take it wider, because first I'd have to get the person to be willing to open up to what's going on. Now, sometimes people don't know, because like I say, we're taught to live in our heads. We're not taught to focus on the emotions or the pictures. So the question is, what needs to happen for you to allow yourself to be open, to trust that you're safe?
Well, I do trust. I don't actually think it is that.
So what is it then? So if it's not that, what is it?
I don't know. It's just, I suppose it's the way I've been brought up, and it's a massive part of me that one doesn't display emotion. One doesn't display. It's true though. That's my upbringing.
Okay.
You know, my grandmothers were born and brought up in just the late Victorian era. There's massive age gaps in my family, and this is sort of what was passed on to me. So I don't know. Okay. I'm not quite sure sort of how I can be anything but me.
So you're assuming that you being disconnected from being honest with your emotions is not you?
That's just blown my mind. Yeah. What was that? Sorry?
he got the answer. He just doesn't want. He wants to go. I'm not going to probe anymore because
I think. Do you know what?
Yeah, go on.
There you go. My headphones are working again now. That's exciting. Sorry, I don't know why anyone had to know that. But anyway.
Thanks for sharing, Phil.
No, I know. Well, sharing is caring, as you can tell. And I'm not in the least bit trying to distract from the situation. Look, I think that I recognise that something's got to give, but maybe I didn't realise until today just how tricky that might be for me.
This, although our guest has indeed put a very interesting spotlight on one thing, the huge age gap, and your grandmothers were in the Victorian era. Does this
Victorian?
Was this your predilection for like outlandish scarves and cravats? You're like the adamant of 2019.
And the fact he uses the word one.
Oh, no, that absolutely. There's
go.
Absolutely no doubt in my mind that it's part and parcel of it. I mean, it was...
In my next life, I'm coming back as a psychoanalyst. I should have done it.
No,
I
but
love it.
That to me, I don't believe that's something that needs analysing. I'm very open and honest about that. Is absolutely, that to me is part of the upbringing. Yeah. My grandmothers were both 88 when they died, when I was aged 15. So that's the kind of age gap we're talking about.
When were they born? What was the date?
1913, 1914, I think.
Oh, wow.
So even though, don't get me wrong, Queen Victoria wasn't on the throne at that stage, but it was still very much in the world.
Well, my dad was born in 1919, so I don't find that so strange.
Yeah.
There you go.
Are we having a competition to see who's the most?
Yeah, who's got
emotionally
the
open?
oldest?
Or the most.
Look, if we would,
Oldest player.
Christopher, if we would have a competition who's most screwed up in this room, we would be here. This would be the longest broadcast in radio history,
We're going on
and
to
end up
Monday,
with
yeah.
3 people dead in a mystery killing. Right now, your other fear, coming back to you,
was public speaking. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, that's
Why are you on radio then?
Yeah. Why are you doing? A, how are you doing this? And B, what?
Well, I got over it. Was the main thing.
So, Christopher, what did you think would happen when you went and public spoke?
Well, this was it, isn't it? It's the beliefs. So what? Again, and I talked about the conditioned response. I'm like 14 years old, I think, about 14, and I always was not a good. I had dyslexia. I wasn't a good speller, good reader, and I got up, and they go on, read from this book. Part of English class. And I'm stumbling over the words, and 14-year-olds, they're 14-year-old boys. They're very supportive, and they'll be okay. Oh, you get through it. Yeah, that's not what happened. They were like laughing and giggling, and in that moment, my brain goes, public speaking means you'll be embarrassed, and that was the meaning I gave it. And from then on in, I avoided it. It was only really when I learnt these tools and worked on that I realized that belief isn't true, that you can actually inspire people, you can make, like you guys are doing, you can make a difference to people when you get out there and share your vision. And the other thing that one of my mentors said that always stuck with me, he said the only way you can be afraid when public speaking is to be thinking about yourself. So it's going, what are people thinking of me? Am I doing this right? Whatever. If you're thinking about what can I give the audience, how can I serve them, it's very hard to be worried or be afraid. So
really,
yeah. If you're truly in that moment,
the first time I would take issue. The reason I would say that is that I always try and push myself into areas that I find absolutely terrifying.
Yes,
I have no idea why. So out of the blue, I decided 3 years ago to do a stand-up comedy show. Now most people would do 5-minute spot.
Yeah.
I never do things by halves, hence starting two radio stations. So I booked myself into an hour-and-a-half show.
Yeah.
And before I go on, I'm in the wings going, what the bloody hell are you doing, you moron?
Yeah.
Then I go on stage, and I'm absolutely loving it.
And then the audience started saying
that. And then they go, what the bloody hell? Thanks, Phil.
This is how you install phobias,
by the way, there's a wasp near your head. It's right behind you, and it's the biggest wasp I've ever seen. It's about a foot long. And,
are you getting a buzz out of this?
And it looks really pissed off. So it's interesting but I never stand there, Christopher, and say, now what are the audience going to get from me? I don't get that at all. I'm going like,
you're going with the intention to entertain. You're not thinking about yourself.
No, I'm just going, please don't let me screw up. Please don't let me screw up.
Okay.
Please, God, let me be funny. Please, God, let me be funny. That's all that's going through my head at a million miles an hour.
Do you have that thought once you're delivering, would be my question. And if you do, that's fine.
Once I start, I'm okay.
So what happens to that thought?
What? Which thought?
The don't screw up, don't mess up.
Well, I'm always conscious of, making it look relaxed and easy when, of course, that's the trick, like broadcasting. But I don't, I'm always aware that don't relax too much because you will screw up. Just be careful. Always be professional. Just do a professional show.
I'm just curious, do those thoughts get less when you start?
Well, they have to, because you're interacting, you're performing. The other person comes on. The actual real, actually quite quiet me has to obviously go away. They're paid good money to come and see an hour-and-a-half show. They want to be entertained. It's my job to make sure that they are entertained. So
I mean, this is it. Everyone's strategy is different. So if it's working for you, then keep doing it. But what I would suggest is all that internal dialogue probably isn't serving you. If you could quieten it a bit, you want to do a good job.
It doesn't serve me at all. I know that.
So there's a difference between how can I do a great job and don't screw up.
But you know what? I know where it comes from. I can tell you, and then you can add it to your anecdotal storage department. Is that when I was at school, I was like meant to be one of the best debaters there, and I made one mistake ever in my life of being cocky about it. I didn't practice. I got up, I spoke, and I lost the competition for my house, as it were. And I don't mean I lost my house. We were divided into houses.
To say the stakes were very high at your school.
I was in Slytherin, obviously, or was it Gryffindor? I can't remember. Whatever the hat said. And I never forgave myself. And I was only, I was a kid, I was like 15 or something like that, 15, 16 maybe. And to that day, I never want to be that cocky kid who did not do his homework properly, didn't prepare, gave a crap performance, and because I thought I could do it, and I hadn't worked hard enough at it, I never ever want to replicate that. And it was a little thing. I mean, what was the outcome of losing the debating competition? In the great scheme of life, zip. Nothing.
But at the time, it was major. But
to me, no, and it wasn't even major at school. No one came up and pointed fingers at me. It was me. I just beat myself up, and now a billion years later, I still think that I don't want that kid re-emerging, especially not on stage where I've got an hour and a half to entertain. He's got normally a sold-out house. So
on that, there's a difference between being arrogant and lazy and being filled with fear, and it's finding that middle ground. So you can still plan, you can still prepare, but you don't need to necessarily have all this. Don't screw up. And I don't know. It's finding the strategy that works for you. But if you're doing it and you're happy, then keep doing it. If what you're doing isn't working, if you can't be around wasps, or you can't be around spiders, or you can't get on a plane, then there's something that needs to change in your internal world.
So how did you then? You just conquered your public speaking?
No,
because you were ridiculed.
Ridiculed. Yeah. No, I
That's
went.
why I don't play sports.
So one of the things I
Same
did.
thing.
Yeah. So one of the things I went back and I worked on the trigger event, because once you take out that conditioned response, your brain no longer knows how to feel about it. So the first thing I did was deal with that. There's various techniques for dealing with that. Like I say, there's the tapping, which is called EFT or TFT, which I use. There's havening.
Could you explain what that means?
So there's various points. I can demo it if you want.
Do it. Go ahead, please.
So actually, think about your wasps right now.
Hey, it's back to
I thought we'd moved on from this. Anyway, yes.
No, you can put your phone down.
Okay, no, I'm going to take it seriously. Thinking about the wasps.
Put your phone down for a sec.
Oh, the reason I got my phone is because I've got some comments on Facebook. I'm going to read out in just a minute.
Okay, we've dealt with you.
Okay,
that's fine.
Okay.
Come on.
So, all I want you to do is go back to that time in your mind.
Yep.
Think about it and just dart your eyes left and right 10 times. But actually, be with the.
Shut up.
Be with the wasps.
Are you joking? Be with the wasps? Really?
Sorry, that was wrongly approached. Yeah. Think about the wasps. Okay. Go up and down with your eyes 10 times.
No, I'm feeling a bit dizzy.
Okay. Shake it off. Deep breath in. Go back to that time in your mind when you thought about the wasps. I just want you to take 2 fingers like this. I'll give you the shortened version, and just cross your hands.
Yeah.
And all I want you to do is tap on your chest. A bit faster. And just think about the wasps now. Think about that moment where you jump down the stairs, and let whatever thoughts, feelings, and emotions come up as you do. And now, what's happening? Okay, deep breath in, focus on it. And just take your hands like this, like you're stroking. You got a pet you like?
I've got pets, do I like them now?
Yeah. Have you got, okay. So imagine something you like, you enjoy, that makes you feel happy. And just do this and think about the wasps now.
Shut up, Ross. Ridiculous, man. This is supposed to be serious. Oh, my palms are really clammy. Yeah, that's really bizarre.
Because you're associating into it now.
Wow, that's really freaked me out because I didn't even realise that was happening.
Okay, deep breath in. Go back to the wasps right now. Give me a scale, 0 to 10. Where is it? That moment, back in the past.
Bizarrely, it feels nearer 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Okay, focus on it. And just tap on the eyebrows for me.
Really? Yeah. Okay, my head is a bit sensitive this morning.
Okay, well, you don't. The other one to do, which is this, if you prefer, but
yeah, okay,
just down, like so you were stroking. Your mum was stroking.
I was just to explain. If you're wondering, if you're not watching on Facebook, what I'm doing is I'm actually using my 4 fingers.
Come all the way down your face, though. All the way down, like you're stroking.
4 fingers to literally just start with the forehead and then drag fingers right the way down the face.
And as you do, try and re-experience that moment where you jump down the stairs. And you can use the palms of your hands as well.
No, they're clammy.
Okay. You can use the backs of your fingers as well, like this. Like you're stroking someone you cared about.
Okay. God, I feel so stupid right now.
Better than being afraid all your life, but...
maybe.
Okay. Yeah. But if not, we can focus on the feeling you're stupid. Okay. Take a deep breath in. Think about...
That's really bizarre.
Go on.
That's really bizarre. Why am I not even sort of feeling that freaked out by it now? Seriously, what on earth has that done that I've just done that? Because I'm going to be perfectly honest, I was super sceptical when you started talking about this. I just thought they were ridiculous.
I couldn't tell the way you were
laughing and smirking. No, we didn't know that.
No, genuinely, I'm not being. Oh my god!
Wow.
Why? Why has that happened to me? That really freaks me out. Why has that happened?
That is fantastic.
Oh, we're loving that. Bravo.
No, that's really picky. I need an explanation for this because
how does that Jones, work? Ladies and gentlemen, he walks the walk and he talks the talk, and he's done it live on Men's Radio Station. I think that's sensational.
Are you Uri Geller in disguise?
No, it's the real deal.
Oh, dear, anyway.
It's not bending spoons or anything. Just bent your mind.
Wow.
Quite literally.
That is the first time that I've heard Phil Dave lost for words. So not only do I want to thank you for his phobia, actually I couldn't give a damn about his phobia, it's his phobia, not mine, but thank you for shutting him up. It's fantastic. This is great.
Crumbs. Okay, well, Christopher, we've had some comments on Facebook. Okay. We announced it earlier in the week that you were going to be on the show. And we've got a couple here. Paul says that one thing he's learnt, I think we should explain that Paul has been a guest on Men's Radio Station.
Was that Paul Claridge?
Yes.
That'd be Paul, yeah.
Paul has been a guest on Men's Radio Station in the past. And he's been very open and honest about going through I don't like the word battle, but I think he uses it, battle with cancer. And he says one thing that he has learned over the course of his illness is that fear plays a large part in the recovery process. If you fear a bad outcome, then it's more difficult to stay positive, and being positive, so his oncologist tells him, is partly key to achieving a better outcome.
Yes.
So
I'd agree completely with that, yes.
And then we've got Bernadette, who says that her fear is snakes. Mm-hmm. She says that she won't even look in a magazine before her kids have checked in case there's a picture of one in there. And she can't even say the word, has to use a code word instead.
Right. So the first question is pretty much what I've been doing here, is to ask, what's her earliest memory of feeling that way? Now, you might not know that logically, and that's where sort of hypnotherapeutic techniques come in, where you can tap directly into the unconscious mind, because everything that's ever happened to you is in there somewhere. So obviously, other than advising you to come see me, think about what the first event was, what triggered this, and then you can do some of those self-soothing exercises. You can do hypnotherapy. There's quite a few different ways of disrupting that pattern, actually, if people realise that so many different ways of changing how you feel.
And I suspect those same techniques will work for Dennis, who's commented here saying that he has a serious fear of dogs, won't go near one, and if he passes one and it starts barking, sends his blood pressure sky high. That's because that's actually dangerous.
That's not good in London, is it, as well?
Yeah, most common would be that he was chased by a dog when he was little, or bitten by a dog, or scared. Something would have triggered that belief. Doesn't have to be literal, but often with dogs it is. But
we can cure. This is weird, because when I was a toddler, my mum and dad had a cocker spaniel that loathed me. Go and get your jokes out of the way, Phil. I was very jealous because I came along a bit late, and the dog had been the baby of the family and would bite me at any opportunity, and I adore dogs. Now, you would think logically that I would have a fear of dogs because it had been instilled in me since I was a baby. I was crawling up, I couldn't even walk yet, crawling up the stairs, it would wait for me and bite me on the face. That accounts for so much of my looks. But I adore dogs. I absolutely love them, and I'm crazy about them. So that didn't work. And you escaped a plane crash, thank God. Unfortunately, clearly the pilot and presumably co-pilot weren't so lucky in the mountains. I was in a plane crash, and I had to go on and fly for about another 20 years, 5 days a week, and accumulated 1.5 million miles until I eventually thought, after 20 years, I am really pushing the envelope here. I'm really pushing my luck. And I thought, it's time to stop. And there were other reasons as well, but I thought it really was time to stop.
Yeah, the invention of travel cameras didn't help.
Well, no. You can be sarcastic about it, little shit. But anyway, the thing about it is that and our mechanic had died. The mechanic on the Flying Eye, he was killed in the plane crash as well. Like plane, they said, "Oh, come with us, Charlie," and he got killed in the mountains as well. So, I was kind of surrounded by it, and I thought, well, I had one horrific dream. It's the only time in my life I've woken up screaming. It was a weird dream, but I just, just worked. It didn't bother me, and I don't know why. It should have bothered me. Should have terrified me, but it didn't.
And the opposite sometimes happens. So, you can go through all these difficult things and be fine, and then sometimes the silliest little thing can go in deep into the subconscious and affect someone's whole belief system.
Yeah.
Why that is, I think sometimes if we're in a more anxious state generally, and then something bad happens, it probably goes in deeper. But beyond that, it's anyone's guess why some things we hold on to and some things we just let go of. But it's fascinating. I had a lady that came to me convinced that she was unlovable, and I did some hypnotherapy, tracked her back to the trigger event because she didn't know it consciously, and she goes, I'm playing hide and seek, and the other kids have forgotten to look for me. She's like 6 years old, 4 years old, whatever.
Wow.
And that belief went in so deep that then through her life, she's looking for examples of why that's true. So whenever anyone was late, well, that means they don't care about me. Whenever, so you start to try and make it true because you look for examples to try and make it true.
I don't think I've ever overanalyzed the time when I was a very little boy and got locked in the airing cupboard with my next door neighbour, Lawrence Gassman, and his mum was playing the piano and didn't realise we were missing for God knows how long. We were locked inside.
That's most unfortunate to be locked in an airing cupboard with someone by the name of Gassman.
We were little kids. We had so much fun when we were little. Now, you have been the most blindingly brilliant guest.
Oh, thank you.
Can I stress, though, that it's amazing how trivial events really can have such a lasting impact.
Yes.
And at the time, they seem so insignificant.
Yeah. Absolutely. But sometimes with phobias, it's easy to spot. Sometimes it's the little things like the fear of success or whatever that could also be blocking you.
God, have we got time? Yeah, we have, actually. I'm going to come back to that. That is something really interesting. We're just getting over James's consumption. He's doing really well. James always
giving
holds
it to
up
us. Isn't that nice of him?
Well, it's lovely. And sharing is caring, as you've said several times in the show. Now, Christopher Jones, brain like a planet. Here's the thing. We like to ask our guests 3 top tips.
Okay.
And we'd be thrilled to have your 3 top tips. It can be on anything, by the way. It doesn't have to be on anything specific.
Okay. 3 top tips?
Yes, please.
What, for life?
Well, yeah, for life. Or what are the 3 top tips that get you through? Or it can be, honestly, anything at all.
Well, it could be anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
3 top tips. I mean, my 3 top tips are probably things I've already said here, but I
then say them again. Reiterate them. It's fine.
How you feel isn't outside of yourself. That's the big one I always say to people, and I remind myself. So if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling good, you're doing something. And it's realizing that you are in control of your emotions. You don't catch them like a cold. You are in control. And when you realize that your thoughts, feelings, images control how you feel about a topic, it's a lot easier to change it. So that would be my top tip for life, really. And have control or power over it. Maybe control's the wrong word, but power, certainly. That's good.
I love that. By the way, if people want to get hold of you, how do they do that? They want to come for a consultation.
They can go on my website.
The lady with the snakes?
They can go on my website, so ChristopherPaulJones.com. I've got tips videos on there and various other things as well. www.ChristopherPaulJones.com. That's correct.
Damn good. Right, my question to you is this. Do you think some people deliberately sabotage their potential success because they're scared of success?
Yes.
And why are they scared? What do they think success is going to bring?
Right. So...
Don't you know?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know.
Well,
that's the thing. I've never... that's my exact point, Phil.
Well, the fascinating people...
Do you not look at... I'm sorry, going off on a slight tangent. Do you not look at yourself as having had a successful career?
Not at all.
Really?
No,
really?
Not in the least. Not in the least.
Wow. Sorry, do you know what? I've known you long enough, but that's really shocking.
That's why I push myself so hard.
Wow.
Because I don't know what it would take to make me think, yeah, you've done all right. But it's not that. I haven't done it yet. I know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
You look at the CV and you go, oh, okay, that's not bad. But it doesn't move me at all.
Not bad. I should be so lucky.
You say not bad. Yeah, even there you say not bad. You look at the CV and you say not bad. It's very interesting, Russ.
Well, that's me. That's what drives me.
Well, sometimes that as you say, that drives you, never feeling content. I wonder how much stress that puts in your body. That's the only thing.
I'm stressed. I'm stressed 24/7.
Okay. So
always stressed. I never.
He hangs around with people like me. It doesn't help.
Well, that really just screws me up enormously. It's only, I think only James's mum bringing in a nice tea cozy is like the least stressful thing that's happened to me.
Yes, we need to publicly say thank you to Mrs. B for looking after us.
Yeah, she's just great. So why are we scared of success?
Why are we scared of success? Again, all sorts of beliefs can go in. I think the fascinating one is where people have fear of success and fear of failure in equal measure. So they're bouncing back between the two. Fear of success is I'll get judged, most common. I'll lose my friends. I'll be different. So they have a reference in their past where, Bill down the road was wealthy and they heard their parents go, well, money doesn't buy you happiness, or, but he's not really that good. And you go, ooh, if I put myself out there's a pedestal people can kick. Yeah. Or there's further to fall. That's the other thing. If I'm up there,
further to fall, it's a very, very different from America. I spend a lot of time in America because I love it over there. I just do. But over in Britain, they build you up like a buttercup, and then they can't wait to destroy it. I don't know why the British media has to do that. Thank God it hasn't happened to me, because I've never reached those heights. But when someone's on the up and up, you just sit there and I'd say, wait for it. Here we go. Yeah. Boom. Doesn't matter who you are or what you do. They got in America, they go, well done, that's great. Well done. Now what can we do? How can we learn from you? Over here they absolutely got to ravage you until you're a wreck.
Yeah, it's a lot of It's a fear of standing out.
It's a British disease, and I don't get it. Never have.
It's really jealousy if you break it down.
I was going to say green-eyed monsters. Comes across
it is
to me.
The green-eyed monster. But why can't you? I don't understand why. People. All right. For example, I got time. I worked with Chris Tarrant for 20 years, and odd people would say to me, aren't you, why, look at all the money you've got. I said, but why do you're not even on the radio station, right? I'm loving it. I'm having the best time. I had 20 fabulous years. I really did. I'm not just saying it. And Chris and I are still friends, and we see each other, and we have a laugh, and it's great. And I never begrudged anything that he was getting, because it was why the hell would I? I was happy what I was getting, and I thought he deserved it. So what? I didn't understand people's attitude of well, why shouldn't you get that? I said, because I'm not him. I'm doing what I do, and I'm happy with that. It doesn't bother me.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't get that British thing of if somebody can be making a fortune, good luck to them. That's what I think.
An awful lot of time though, we seem to spend time looking at what we don't have rather than what we do have, though.
Yes.
I think that's a sort of a standard trait with a lot of people. And it can manifest itself into jealousy. But it boils down to that we just don't see what's in front of us. We just constantly look for what's not there.
Mm. Well, that's like there's a whole new category of psychological disorder from Facebook. Everyone's looking at Facebook, seeing everyone, they're happy, they're out having fun, they're on holiday. My life is crap by comparison.
I wish we had more time to talk about that, because that's really
a huge issue. And do you know what? Social media, every show we do, social media rears its head because the genie's out of the bottle. You cannot pretend it doesn't exist. Even though both the twins that we have, the twins are off social media. They're 21 next month. They don't touch it with a barge pole. They have no interest in it. They think it's a load of rubbish, and it takes up too much time. But then, on the other hand, it's the world in which we live. And for example, just when I was saying, how do people get hold of you? What's the first thing? You don't say, well, write to me at 33 the High Street above the fruit shop.
Go on the internet.
You say, well, go on the internet and come onto the website, and that's how we advertise. That's how we work Men's Radio Station. That's how I'm publicising my book. I mean, it's all these things. So it is. Well, that's
you have
to
the
learn
thing
to control it. Though.
Yeah, with new technology, there's good and bad. I mean, I was saying that to someone the other day. The fact that I can carry everything on my phone, I can have audio books and find this place and everything just in a little thing in my pocket is great. I love it.
It is great.
But it's also causing a lot of anxiety and stress, and you get a beep and you're like, what's this? Some person I've never heard of doing some live thing, or a birthday.
Somebody has added to their story. I don't give a shit, to be honest with you. Tell me, very, very quickly, I don't know if you can, I don't want to give away confidence. What is the weirdest, such a rubbish question, but I have to ask. What's the weirdest phobia anyone said to you? Christopher, please, I'm afraid of...
Oranges, I think, was the one that stands out for me.
Wow. Oranges. But isn't it strange? Because... logic says, well, I understand Phil's fear. A wasp can sting you and can damn well hurt. Orange, what's going to happen? Nothing, right?
I don't know. I can see the appeal. Hey.
You give me the pip sometimes, Phil.
You don't do stand-up, do you?
Mercifully
afraid not. I
not. But
sit down.
he comes to see mine. Okay. Well,
I just heckle.
He sat there looking very smart and then rather louche at the bar. Rather louche. Anyway, it's been an absolute pleasure. So if you want to go and find out more about our guest, Christopher, there's no short way of saying that, is it? ChristopherPaulJones.com. You saw what he did and you heard what he did to Phil, and Phil was not faking it. That was like,
no, I swear to you,
like, what the hell's just happened to me?
You've got to believe me when I say pure skepticism from the moment you started with that. I genuinely don't understand. I still don't. Off air, I'm going to ask you to explain. I genuinely don't understand why it changed.
Christopher, thank you so much for coming in.
You're very welcome.
You've been listening to our guest, Christopher Jones. Also want to thank Johnny Benjamin, who was fantastic. And we've got the most extraordinary interview coming up, by the way, with Professor, not for real, grown-up, Professor Brett Carr. It is one of our favourite interviews I think we've ever done.
Yes, because I'm not here.
Because he wasn't here. So it was real grown-up stuff.
You can find the interview on the Facebook page. It's in 2 separate parts, and it will be... should be on there now.
It'll be on there. It's absolutely riveting stuff. James Blake has been rocking the decks as ever. Boy Wonder producer doing the bolt. What's it
Lightning
called?
bolt.
Lightning bolt. Phil Dave having his phobias cured and just being a cynical, elegant and sartorial expert. I'm Russ Kane. Until we meet again, have fun.